Okay, so think about your morning. Did you actually decide to roll over and check your phone first thing, or did it, just happen? How much of your day is really a conscious choice, and how much is just your brain running on autopilot? Well, today we're going to uncover the hidden code that runs our lives, and more importantly, how you can learn to rewrite it.
To really get how our own brains work, we're going to start with a brain that was, well, fundamentally broken. This is the incredible, baffling medical mystery of a man named Eugene Pauly, and his story would completely change our understanding of human behavior.
So, back in 1992, Eugene was hit with this devastating illness. A virus literally chewed through parts of his brain, and it left him with almost no ability to form any new memories. I mean, he couldn't even remember what had happened just a minute ago.
His short-term memory was so completely wiped out that if you asked him to just, point to his own kitchen, he couldn't do it. His own house, a place he lived in for years, was this constant puzzle that his conscious mind just couldn't solve.
But here's where it gets weird. When hunger struck, his body somehow knew exactly what to do. He would get up, walk right to the kitchen, open a specific cupboard, and find a jar of nuts. He was acting on knowledge that his conscious mind absolutely did not have. So this became the million-dollar question for the researchers studying him, right? If his memory was gone, what on earth was guiding his actions? How could his brain possibly be learning new things without him even being aware of it?
Well, the answer wasn't in his conscious mind at all. It was somewhere way deeper, in a kind of autopilot mode that all of our brains use to navigate the complexities of daily life. They were about to crack the habit code. So what scientists over at MIT discovered was this surprisingly simple blueprint. Turns out, every single one of our habits, the good, the bad, all of them, follows this exact same three-step loop. First, there's a cue or a trigger. Then comes the routine. And finally, you get a reward.
And this all happens thanks to this really primitive but incredibly efficient part of our brain called the basal ganglia. The best way to think of it is as the brain's autopilot system. Its entire job is to turn routines into automatic behaviors, so the rest of your brain can just chill out and save energy.
You can actually see this in action in those famous MIT rat experiments. The first time they put a rat in a maze, its brain was firing on all cylinders, just analyzing every single sight and sound. But as it started to learn the route to the chocolate, its mental activity just plummeted. As soon as that pattern of go straight, turn left, get chocolate was locked into its basal ganglia, the rat could basically do it without thinking at all. The conscious part of its brain could essentially just go to sleep.
But it turns out this simple three-step loop is missing a crucial, secret ingredient. For habits to become truly automatic, truly sticky, the brain needs to learn something else. It needs to learn how to crave.
Okay, picture this. In the early 1900s, dental hygiene was so bad it was actually considered a national security risk. And yet, trying to sell toothpaste was a complete financial dead end, and for a really, really simple reason. So this legendary ad man, Claude Hopkins, gets handed this impossible puzzle. And his solution didn't just sell a bunch of toothpaste. It basically changed the world of marketing forever.
See, Hopkins knew he couldn't just sell the idea of clean teeth. That's a boring concept, not a feeling. So he focused on the reward. Pepsodent had ingredients like mint oil that created this cool, tingly sensation. He sold the feeling of clean, a reward people started to anticipate and pretty soon crave every single day.
And that is what made the habit stick. People literally said that if they forgot to use Pepsodent, their mouth felt wrong because they missed that tingle, that neurological craving for the reward. That's the engine that makes the habit loop spin on its own, turning it into this powerful, self-reinforcing cycle.
But here's the thing, not all habits are created equal. Some are so powerful they can set off a total transformation, not just in one person's life, but in an entire massive company. These are what we call Keystone Habits. They are the ultimate leverage point for change. Think of them like the first domino in a long line. You tip that one over, and it creates this incredible cascade of positive new routines.
A perfect example is the story of Alcoa, which was a failing aluminum company at the time. The new CEO, Paul O'Neill, gets up on stage to address Wall Street investors. And he doesn't talk about profits. He doesn't talk about synergy. He talks about one thing, worker safety. And the investors, they were horrified. They thought he was some kind of anti-capitalist nut job.
But the effect was just incredible. To get to 0 injuries, O'Neill created this new rule. Anytime there was an accident, the unit president had to report it to him, personally, within 24 hours. This one single Keystone habit forced the entire company to rebuild its communication and operational systems from the ground up, creating this culture of excellence that led to, well, staggering success.
So here it is, the most important takeaway of all this. Once you understand the formula, the cue, the routine, and the reward, you can stop being a slave to your habits. You can actually become their architect.
The secret isn't to try and resist the cue or ignore the craving. I mean, let's be honest, that almost never works. Instead, you consciously redesign the routine that follows, and you do that by using what's called the golden rule of habit change.
Okay, let me show you how you can actually put this into practice. Let's say your bad habit is grabbing a cookie every afternoon around 3 p.m. The cue, that afternoon energy slump. The reward you're really craving isn't the cookie, it's a momentary distraction and a quick energy boost. The golden rule says keep the cue and the reward, but just swap out the routine. So instead of the cookie, you could try a 10-minute chat with a coworker. You still get the distraction, you still get that social boost, but you've totally rewired the habit.
The science behind this is surprisingly simple, but the power it gives you is absolutely profound. By just identifying the cues and the rewards in your own life, you can set off a chain reaction that could remake everything. So the real question isn't if you can change, it's what's the one keystone habit you're going to choose to start with.